Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are here today with Mitch Kranitz, who is the channel manager for Print Partner, along with Gerard Iannuzzelli. I think I pronounced that right. Who is the director of strategic solutions for Green Office Partner. Hey guys, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Scott.
Great, Scott. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Well, it really is the morning for you. Aren't you based out of Chicago, Illinois, both of you guys?
We are. I
Yes.
am.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So you're one
Good
hour
morning.
behind me. I think you're on Central Time and we're on Eastern Time. It's 11 o'clock. I always ask everybody what the weather is. It's 50 degrees here in South Carolina. How about you guys?
Our weather's perpetually sunny. You see
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
Always sunny.
This is how our office looks all day and night.
There was a show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So it's
Oh yeah,
always sunny in Chicago.
that's right. Or at
That's the
least in
sequel.
the print partner office.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
think it's around 45 here as well. So
All right. Well, usually it's a whole lot colder in Chicago than it is in South Carolina, but I guess it's that time of the year. So awesome.
I,
Well, I really love to hear all the good things that Print Partner Green along with Green Office Partner are doing. And Mitch, why don't you tell us about the distinction between the two companies and how what Print Partner is?
You bet. And Scott, I also just want to share that every time I get on the ITBOG live stream, it's kind of like that moment when Kanye West took the mic from Taylor Swift, and then afterwards, I'm instantly famous, and I get so much, so much, feedback from the world. So Gerard, I hope you're ready for the mad crush of MSP that are going to want to talk to you after this. Um,
I do.
I guess I'll lead by saying thank you. Anybody who's taking the time to watch this, if you're a current print partner, if you're a partner of ours, thank you so much. We can't do it without you. And if you are curious about Print Partner, we're the preferred print vendor for MSPs across the country, and then we also just open up our operations in Canada. But just to clearly define the relationship between Print Partner and Green Office Partner, they're one and the same. They're the exact same company. It's just that Print Partner is the brand for the channel that we use to communicate with the MSP community. As a former MSP business owner for 20 years, I recognized that we needed to just very clearly talk to the target audience, and MSPs are the target audience that we chose to align ourselves with. The only managed print services company in the world that I'm aware of that is cleanly and wholly aligning ourselves with the MSP community. We do not offer MSP services. So Green Office Partner is Print Partner is the relationship between the MSP and Green Office Partner. It's private. We don't advertise it or ever email your customer from Print Partner. Green Office Partner is the company that your customers will do business with when you choose to make an introduction to us through Print Partner.
Sure.
So hopefully that made it clear. Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. I got it. Print
Yeah,
Partner is the
can,
MSP facing side of the business.
Yeah.
and I just want to make sure that you can see the screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent.
And then with that, I guess, the rest of this show, the purpose for today was to like get everybody out of the mindset of thinking that Print Partner is just about, printers and copiers. Those certainly are, a huge portion of the revenue that comes in. But Gerard here is our director of solutions and strategic, solutions. And he's running a major part of our business, and it's important for us to let our MSP referral partners know that there's so much more beyond the printer and the copier. And I'll just turn it over to him, and Scott, you and I will become peanut gallery, and hit him up with any
Yeah,
questions that come up along the way.
I got to say one thing before we hand it over to Gerard. When I think of Print Partner, I think of a copying machine or a printer. I don't think of
Yeah,
anything else. So I'm glad we're doing this, and we can all learn other ways that we can engage Print Partner as well.
I
Definitely.
love it. Let's do it.
All right.
Well, I guess I'll start. Welcome, everyone. I have a presentation. My name is Gerard Iannuzzelli. If you're down the street from me. I've been in the solution business for 30 years. I was a CIO in an MSP company for 17 years. I owned my own MSP and hardware integrated business for 5 years. Been a software developer for 20 years. So I've been around the block a few times with some solutions, and it seems that I keep going back to the print side of the business and how to tie that print side of the business into the mainstream of technology that's in a typical organization. And before I start and go through some of the things that we offer, I just want to make sure that we understand that we may talk today about some things that the MSPs out there they may offer already. We're not here to take business away. We're not here to step on anyone's MSP toes. What we're here for is to enhance a stack that maybe you have or that you're looking to get into, and maybe we can kind of kickstart and help you kickstart that stack. So with that being said, I am going to jump into a few things that I mentioned a few of them, but just going to jump in. When you think of Print Partner, right now you're probably thinking of, okay, great. If I bring Print Partner in to one of my customers and we sell them some copiers and printers, I'm gonna cash in on that. That's that commission, that lead that we get, that lead fee that we get for turning in a printer and copier lead for our partners. And that's what most MSPs are used to that are working with us right now. However, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because we offer many, many, many solutions beyond that you can take advantage of. Cloud faxing solutions. Obviously, taking away that copper line that goes into the back of a fax machine or a copier and making it a true internet-based fax solution for an organization. Document management, taking documents and paper documents and storing them and routing them and making them more organized for an organization, going in and automating some maybe accounts payable or accounts receivable. So we get into a lot of solutions like that as well. Print driver deployment, and where this comes in play is we run into a lot of MSPs and a lot of I guess I should say IT departments that they really don't want to deal a lot with printers, and they don't want to deal with the print drivers. So what we have a solution that can actually automate the print deployment of those drivers, and it just makes an IT staff and it could also help the MSP just deploy print drivers and writes and everything in a lot easier fashion than what we're used to currently with some of the Windows and Microsoft stuff that's out there. And then we also go beyond that. We also do some barcode processing. We do solutions that can actually read barcodes, do stuff with the barcode, print that barcode. So I think what I'm trying to say here is that basically these solutions are things that when we go into an organization, we look for this type of maybe an issue or this type of a opportunity that go beyond the normal print and copy functionality. Because what we do is we take this information and we do a full workflow analysis of that, either that department or that company. Sometimes we go in and we're sitting there for days just taking notes and looking at how the workflow goes in these companies. And if we can put in some of our solutions in those areas that we find inefficiencies, that's what we do. And most of the time, I'm going to be honest with you, you go in and we go into these companies, probably about 60% of the time we see inefficiencies in their workflow where a solution may fit in that would make that, increase that efficiency. So once, like I said, we take these things and we put them in there, we look at their workflow and we go through it and we say, hey, where can these fit? So
I've got a quick question.
Go ahead.
You've got the second thing listed as document management. Can you kind of
Yes.
give our audience an idea? I think we all know what a fax solution is and print driver develop deployment and barcode printing and scan and processing. But I was a little foggy on the document management because I feel like that could be so many different things.
And it is, to be honest with that.
Okay.
So the document, well, when we talk about document management, we talk about taking a document that you normally have in your workflow. It could
Okay.
be a check, it could be an invoice, it can be a folder of a customer, or a folder of a client matter for a legal office or whatever. And what we do, instead of taking those documents and putting them in a file folder, as we all know, file folders can get lost. File folders can be put into somebody's desk, and once it gets moved around without any audit trail or anything like that, what document management does is we take those documents, we digitize those, we put those in an organized fashion, and then we are able to do more stuff with those documents. For example, do some markups on those documents without affecting the initial or the original document. Routing those documents to specific individuals. For example, let's say an invoice comes in that's over a certain amount. Well, our solution reads that invoice, looks at the amount, and can route it to the person that has to approve that invoice. And that person can approve it online or digitally, so to say. They approve it, it goes right on to the next person, or gets on to go get paid. Whatever your process is. Hence why we have to do and automate and do this, analyze your workflow, so that way we can put these steps in place. And then what the other thing that the document management does is it provides a secure back-end reservoir for your documents and data that has an electronic audit trail. And the key thing about document management, about any documents, specifically in legal, health, well, just about any business, is that you do have to keep an audit trail of what's going on. And the worst thing that could happen is if you do get audited, or if there is something that goes on, maybe a legal case or something like that, they're going to want to see all these documents. Well, document management allows that in a much quicker, easier, and more efficient manner.
All right. Fair enough.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great, excellent. Are there any other questions on this slide? You know, this really tells the gist of kind of what our company's all about.
I'm just going to drop a mind-numbing number, in that we have over $23,000 a month. What is it in 23,000 in cloud fax?
Yeah, we have a
Like-
customer. I'm not going to mention the customer's name. They do roughly about 100, and believe it or not, 120,000 pages a month in faxing.
Wow.
So like, whoever
20,000
thought you could make money off of faxing? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so
But
you know what?
there it
It's
is.
a core product of ours. Believe it or not, it's a core product, that because we see the you know how people are using it, and it's like, you know what, we got to keep this as a core product. People think faxing is going away. Well, I think it's just getting shifted to another medium. So
Another thing I'd just like to mention is this: like when we come in, when you invite Print Partner in to talk about an opportunity, we recognize that MSPs all have different, stacks. Some MSPs might be super VoIP heavy and have their own cloud fax solution, or they might already have their print driver deployment. I've met some, fantastic MSP that have a really strong print deployment program in place, and they don't want us to mess with it. We don't have any of these dialogues with customers until we talk to you first about it. So we would never present something that would conflict with something that you're already offering. That's kind of the core to what we do.
Exactly. Like we said at the beginning, we don't want to step on anybody's toes, or
Yep, that's what I was
all
going to
about
say.
being
The
a
whole
partner.
idea is to keep the separation there.
Yeah, there's a reason why we have a partner in our name, and they have a print partner in print partner's name as well. So
I like that.
be your partner. We want to be your partner. So with no further questions, I'm gonna actually move on and jump into a few of our products that are kind of our key products that we're leading with. Papercut. For those who don't understand or don't know what Papercut is a way that a customer can manage not only manage the usage of their print devices, but also the security of their print devices, as well as the ease of use of their print devices. And I'll go into a few of these. First off, let's start right here with the authentication. And I know that from time to time, if there's any questions, you guys just let me know. But from time to time, at certain customers, especially in the legal and the health fields, there are times when you have to make sure that people can't see the documents that you're printing. And so one of the first ways to help secure your environment is to first off make sure that the person that's at that device, that copier or that printer, or even the scanner to a certain extent, can be authenticated to be able to use that. And the authentication can come from, even using your regular door card or your key card that you currently have. We can outfit the devices to have that reader, so that when you walk up to that device, you put your card on there, it goes, checks against the database or your back-end LDAP, and it says, hey, you know what? This person's authorized, and this is what they're authorized for on this device. Because the devices these days are not just about copying and printing. There's a lot more that's involved in that. There's a lot more data that you can get from these devices, and authentication, like I said, helps secure that.
Very nice.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying very nice.
So,
go ahead, please.
Along with authentication, I'm going to jump over here to security. Comes the security fashion about that.
Hang on. Do you mind if I ask a question? So that authentication, I mean, you think I know the answer to all these, but I'm just fleshing this out. The authentication also is like, when you say it's a lot more than printer copy, that's also like authentication will give them access to their O365 or their Google Drive stuff through the device. So that's more of the security. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. With the authentication, that's a good point, Mitch. With the authentication, they have single sign-on. So when you go up and authorize yourself to use that device, it knows who you are, and it can securely log you in to the other apps that are on that device. For example, like Mitch was saying, connection to your SharePoint, connection to your OneDrive, connection to your email, your Office 365 email. So that one card or that authentication can be single sign-on to allow it to log in. Either that, or you would be logging in separately to each one of those. So it's nice to have that kind of feature with that, which then moves into the security aspect. And I know we talked about being able to get to that device and being able to open the device. However, the security aspect of it is not just that, but when you're printing, if you're printing, you don't want to have to run up to that copier or that printer and grab that off, especially if you're in HR, if you're in a health organization where you have HIPAA compliances and Sarbanes-Oxley compliances, things like that. The security feature allows that when you print, it holds your job in a queue, so that way, when you go to the device, you can click on that device using your card, and it will show you your print jobs that you can print out. So it's not just, hey, it's just not going to release them when you print. You can have it to where it holds them and lets you decide when you want to print them. That way,
Nice.
Like I said, you're not rushing up there. You're not having to worry about other people coming in and seeing information that's on that device. So that's one of the other features, which then goes into a cost-saving feature as well. Because how many times when you're at printing, and as soon as you get done printing a 20-page document, you're like, oh, God, I see an error that I shouldn't have printed that. And next thing you know, it's printing out 20 pages that you just printed that you found an error on page 8. So what this does is exactly what I was talking about. When you go to that device, you don't have to release that job. You can delete that job. So right there is saving you money from printing that job out. So when you go to the device and you see all your jobs, oh, I don't need to print this one because that's the one I made the error in. So right there, you can get rid of that job and not print it.
And I also love the example of like when I had schools as clients for my MSP back in the day, and you'd walk into the copy room, and there'd be like, 8 reams of paper printed out, sitting on the side that basically just gets thrown in because teachers print stuff out, they forget that they printed it, and then by the time that they remembered it, the use case was complete, and so it's just trash. It happens
Right.
all the time.
In fact, the the developer of Papercut many years ago, that's what gave him the idea, was exactly what Mitch was saying just now. He kept seeing a ton of papers all over the copier and wondering, why aren't people picking up their documents? Come to find out, well, some of them forgot it, some of them reprinted, just different ways. So first off, a lot of waste goes into that. This also cuts down on waste, and not just cost savings, but also cuts down on the waste of physical paper. So the other thing that Papercut does for our customers is that we can get a usage report off of the actual user, what they're printing, how they're printing it, and even get a copy of what they printed. So that way, like I said, in these environments where you can't control and watch everybody's movement, Papercut can actually watch that movement for you and tell you the trends of what's going on down to the user level. So all these things.
I got a quick question for you. With the Papercut technology, I really like it. It seems like it checks off a lot of boxes for people. How old is that technology? Is this something new? Because I haven't seen this on printers before. You print and it spits it out.
Well, Papercut's been around for a while. I will say that.
All right.
It's been around since right after 2000. In fact, I think they had something before 2000.
Oh,
However,
so it's a product been out for probably 20 years. Okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Up until a few years ago, it's been only giving you reports. The security and authentication and it's evolved with how the device has evolved. So it's not just it didn't say stagnant. It evolved with the devices.
Nice.
Because nowadays the devices that you have out there are almost like your iPhones and Androids, where you can download apps and you can do a ton of things, and this is evolving with it. So it's very what do I want to say? It's very in line with how organizations are running and how organizations need to control their printing environment. And not only printing, but this can also control the scanning and what they can scan to and everything. There's so many things that go on. I mean, I could talk about this for hours just on Papercut.
Please don't.
I know, right?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Everybody would be sleeping by the end of it. But anyway, so that's one of the products we want to highlight today. By the way, the products that we talk about are our core products. We sell multiple and we offer multiple products to help your customers do better with how their environment is. However, we talk about these core because these are what we see in most prevalent. Papercut's right now the largest print management for getting down to that kind of granularity. So anyways, any questions? I'm going to move on to the next product that we talk about.
Thank you.
This product, CareAR, is something fairly new to us. It's uses the name of the product is CareAR. It's developed from Xerox. Xerox, as we all know, has been around for years, for decades, and they always are improving on their technology as well as the offering that they can do for just a typical office. And when I'm talking about CareAR, that's the name of the product. But what it does is it uses AI to help service organizations better support their end user and their customers. And I know that there's some things out there now, like I think there's InFocus, there's a few things by Google that are very similar. However, we're going to show you a video on the next slide that actually is it just blows away those other products. So any questions on what CareAR does, or Mitch, do you want to add anything to that? You're going to see
Good. Thank you.
a platform that allows service organizations to help service their end users and their support techs much easier fashion. So with no further ado, I'm going to play this video. Oh, sorry.
The next best thing to being there is being there remotely. CareAR is an augmented reality platform that supports live visual assistance and guidance. It works up close and personal, allowing experts to remotely see and solve issues as if they were right there with you. Using virtual AR assistants, customers and experts can see and annotate service notes over live video together in real time. And 3D spatial annotation keeps those notes locked on your equipment, even if you move your device. Many industries can apply immediate solutions to their remote support needs. Anyone on site can use CareAR just by using a mobile device, a tablet, or smart glasses to instantly connect with expert guidance. With CareAR's platform and suite of AR tools, service organizations can solve more issues remotely, deflecting costly on-site dispatches. And with fewer technical delays, you'll have a faster time to resolution, higher first-time fix rates, resulting in fewer calls into service desks, reduced service costs, enhanced safety with remote visits. All your service sessions are stored in the cloud and can be shared with your teams. CareAR is the only certified ServiceNow partner for AR integration. Our solutions are built for scale and seamlessly integrate into diverse workflows. CareAR offers an end-to-end solution to your remote support needs. CareAR. Make expertise accessible.
So any questions about the about what you heard?
No,
Oh,
I'm glad to see other companies, large companies, are getting involved with using some. I assume it's an app that utilizes the onboard camera of the phone and allows the support staff to virtually be there. So
That's exactly what it is.
yeah, I think that's great technology.
And the ability, anybody that's been around as long as me, which is quite a few years, I'm getting old here, but you remember the old days of having to get on a telephone and say, hey, no, this is what I'm talking about. Move this, move this, move this. And they're like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. Don't. And then when it moved to cell phones, it was a little bit easier, because then people were able to be at the device while you're talking to them, but you still had that concern of, are they hitting the right, moving the right wire? Now with this, as you can see in this picture, you can actually see what they're seeing and draw on the screen, help them out. As being a former MSP, to me, if I had some techs out in the field that needed more assistance than what we could give them now, I mean, this is just unbelievable. The kind of things that you can do with it.
We
and
try
then
to,
also,
I run an MSP as well, and we try to utilize the same type of technology, whether it's a FaceTime call. You just need to look through the camera of the cell phone. But I don't know if Xerox's support staff have the same problem that we do. But usually when one of our customers holds the phone and they're trying to show us, they're usually showing us the floor, they're showing us their kneecap or something other. And I'm like, no, you need to switch the camera, flip it around. So you end up giving support on that as well. But no, it is a big help once you can get the end user to focus the camera on what you need to see. So
yeah, and with the added ability to be able to draw on the screen and how that stays with that. So even if you do move the camera to the floor and come back to really what you were looking at, it stays those.
Yeah, you can't do that with FaceTime.
No, you can't. So anyways, that's one of the products that we do offer now, and it's getting a lot of traction, especially with AI being a huge buzzword. It's just something that we feel it kind of goes along with and how we help our customers, and to be able to help them like that. So Any questions on this? If not, I'm going to move on. The other thing that's getting huge traction is RPA, and that's robotic process automation. We talked a little bit about that during the document management when I said that, hey, you know what, we could automate some of the processes that, you know, maybe read the information off the page and automatically route it. That is like the scratching the surface of what true robotic process automation is. And basically what it does is it takes the task out of some person doing a mundane task, whether it's answering a phone, whether it's answering emails, whether it's processing invoices, whether it's just answering help desk calls. Once again, by Xerox, they've been using this technology for about 12 years internally, and now they're offering it to us to be able to offer this to our customers. And it replaces, and I want to say this in the most fundamental and way, it replaces the tasks that someone's doing with a bot, is what they call it. Hence why robotic, they take the word bot out of that. And it's an electronic piece. No matter what it is, it can replace that piece on not only on the computer, but also on your within your process. And I think the best way to do this is by, in fact, when I was talking to Mitch, I said, I gotta have a video because it's so much easier to explain by a video than it is by me trying to explain what a bot is. So next screen, we're gonna see another video. But before I move on, is there any questions or anything that comes to mind before I move on to the next screen? Okay, great. We'll just move right into it. Once again,
what would you like to put on autopilot?
Oh, filling out all the forms.
Manage and send out my emails.
Dealing with my many passwords.
Automation can be your best business partner, supporting those important, routine, day-to-day tasks which keep your company running smoothly.
I can focus on more important things.
More time for meaningful tasks.
I can get it all done faster.
Robotic Process Automation, or RPA, is a software-based technology that allows you to completely automate repetitive, rule-based tasks like opening emails, collecting and sharing data, reading databases, filling out forms. You just tell us what needs to be on autopilot, and we can help.
That would be amazing.
What a relief that would be.
Here's how it works. With Xerox's Robotic Process Automation service, you choose a bot for a specific set of tasks from our extensive bot catalog, or work together with us to create a new bot for a custom set of tasks. We assess, build, deploy, and support your bots throughout the process.
That would be a huge help.
Xerox's Robotic Process Automation service can help make businesses work more efficiently by automating multiple tasks without any human intervention.
I like that.
It's an end-to-end solution with simplified pricing that translates directly into time and cost savings for any organization. And saving time and money are perks that we all can enjoy.
So just as an example, first off, was there any questions on what you saw or anything on there? It's pretty straightforward what they're talking about. And just to give an example of one that we're actually working on right now, we have believe it or not, a car dealership that has 35 locations all over the country, and they seem to have a they have a mundane process of when a new employee gets hired, that employee there's like 15 to 20 processes that have to happen. For example, the employee has to be entered into their back-end systems. The employee has to get a key card assigned to them. The employee needs to have all this stuff, forms filled out and everything. So they had this person that was doing this for the entire country every time an employee was hired and every time an employee was terminated, whether that's leaving on their own or terminated. And this person would have to go in and spend 4 or 5 hours a day doing just this process. Her skills were way beyond just doing mundane processes of all this stuff. So right now we created a bot that goes in and onboards a new employee, looks at all the systems, reads the screen, reads the emails, and fills out the correct forms, creates users, creates the, and now remember, this is all rule-based, so it's not like we don't have control over changing it. It's not like the bot can just go do something without us being involved. And here's the nice thing is that it actually has spots during the day that it calls out to that person that was doing it before and says, I want you to check some of these things just to make sure that it's right. But here's the nice thing about this. It works 7 days a week. It doesn't take a coffee break. It doesn't ask for a raise. It just does what it's supposed to do. And that is the true meaning of what robotic process automation is. Continuously doing a job, a mundane process. So, and now they're able to take this person, this employee, and she's able now to use her real skills that she went to school for and that they actually hired her for. And she's doing higher end stuff. So being more productive with it.
Very nice.
So yeah, it's quite the thing. When I first got into this, I was like, that's not going to be able to do that. And I saw it work and I was like, wow, I was changed. I was a changed person. So, but anyways, automating process means automated productivity for customers and higher commissions for the MSP. And later on in our presentation, we're going to go over some of the commissions that you can make from some of these products that we're talking about. However, it's all geared towards GOP, which is Green Office Partner, Print Partner, working with the MSP and kind of making sure that, hey, this is a good fit first off, and then working with that customer to work through their processes. Like I said, being a fly on the wall for a couple of days and just seeing what they're doing with these processes, and then helping the MSP build a stronger customer relationship by introducing bots to free up the customer's staff, which allows them to focus on higher value work. So, and I think that I know we do this, and I know that the customer originally may look at us as a print partner, so to say. But once we go through this stuff, they're looking at us at a higher level. And I can only imagine the MSPs are already at this higher level. I can just imagine where it can catapult them, bringing something like this to a customer, being able to save hundreds of thousands of dollars.
One of the use cases that always comes to mind is like I had a dental practice client that had like 70 locations across the country. And there was this like super mundane process that they had a department of 20 people employed sitting in their headquarters downtown Chicago, doing this very repetitive, really not that complicated, but critical work with x-rays and labeling them, getting them put into people's files and this and that and the other, all these things that are required for, HIPAA and blah, blah, blah. And that CFO would have jumped in a heartbeat if he could have taken that team down to 5 people and saved, I don't know how many, millions of dollars in salary over the course of 5 years. So
you know what, you hit on something, Mitch, that's very important. That obviously we talked about repetitive tasks. We talked about taking tasks away from an employee and allowing the bot to do it. It's great that we can talk about this, but the person that you want to focus on is the C-level or managerial level. You most likely don't want to talk to a person that's maybe the receptionist or an admin. You really should be talking at that C-level.
or somebody who stands to have their job eliminated by putting
right.
out
And
the ad.
you know what? It's sad. And we're not here to talk about things that eliminate jobs. We're talking about making that office more productive. So, but anyways, any other questions before I move on? Cool. So the nice thing is they talked about custom. I promise this is my last slide on this. But they talked about having customized bots made for your specific tasks. However, they do have some bots that are currently already made that make a few changes, and they can already start, doing accounts payable, accounts receivable, customer billing, things like that. And it's just making a couple of changes within that bot for it to fit that environment. That's how, first off, it's not an easy task in the background, but once it's sold and once we have that process, putting something in place is not that difficult. So that's really what I was getting to on the slide. But anyways, if there's no more questions on with the RPA and what's going on with that, we'll move on. Pretty neat stuff, actually. To see it work is phenomenal. So at this point, we went through. We told you kind of some of the solutions that we have, and some of the some of the ways that some of them may add some great stuff to your stack. Well, how do the MSP engage Print Partner to be able to help out? Let's say you're at a customer and you see that, wow, you know what, I heard that they can do AP processing. The customer's talking to me about it. This may be a good lead to bring in. Well, first off, what you do is the MSP has to identify and then registers the opportunity on printpartner.com to be able to go in and register that opportunity. What happens?
Printpartner.biz, by the way, printpartner.biz.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And in the center, top center, you can register a deal there. Yep.
And
we
then
try to be cool.
Then what we do is that a solutions architect will get assigned to that specific lead, and they will work with the MSP and set up the initial meetings, make sure that there's a warm introduction, things like that, so that way we can vet the opportunity to see, hey, is this something that we really truly should continue, or is it something that's not? Once that's done, the MSP makes I'm sorry, I mixed two but after the introduction gets done, GOP will physically go in and do that assessment, meaning we'll be a fly on the wall, like I talked about earlier. We will make sure that we understand, along with our architects, how that process really works. Getting in there, asking questions, and making sure that we, create that workflow, so we can convert it to a bot. Then GOP presents the proposal to the customer, meaning we go in, we have our bot, let's say, designed. We go in, we create that proposal, and then we'll present it to the customer. And then after the invoice is paid from to GOP, GOP will present the MSP with a commission check. It's as simple as that. So really, what we're looking for is the MSP identifies the initial need, even if we're not expecting the MSP to have to know every single thing that we're talking about. We're just looking for that lead. And we will work along with the MSP and directly with that customer to make sure that lead turns into a true opportunity. And then at the end, the GOP will present them with the check. It's nice. It's kind of how it's how the print side of things works right now, pretty much. So
couldn't be any smoother.
No, yeah, 6 steps. But any other questions on this? If not, Mitch, do you want to talk about the commission?
Yeah. So this is like what it all comes down to. Like the 3 value props that Print Partner offers MSPs is, protection. We're not an MSP, so we'll never be, trying to snipe your customer, where most print vendors are. We offer collaboration, and that's like when something happens, we actually, collaborate with your MSP to get to close to first call resolution as possible with the stuff that we're responsible for in your client environments. But then the commission piece, just as a reminder, we pay $250 to $500 introduction commission for any introduction that you make on the print side. And then we also offer $100 for every desktop printer that's new this year. And then we pay $1,000 for every copier that we place at a client environment. With regards to solutions opportunities, we feel a pretty generous structure. We will pay, so in any solutions deal, there's usually two components. There's the one-time hit, that's all the hardware and any labor costs and things like that. You get 5% of the value of that. And then you get 2%. So instead of recurring revenue, as a former MSP, I love recurring revenue, and I love still getting checks for my old VoIP deals and things that I did back in the day. But instead of sending a recurring revenue check every month for solutions opportunities, we decided that we would just reward the MSP in total for the term of the agreement that the customer that they introduce us to agrees to, which is usually it's a 3 to 5 year agreement for many things, but sometimes it's a 1 year agreement. Whatever that is, if they spend $10,000 or if they spend $1,000 over the course of a year, then the MSP is going to get a check for 2% of that right up front. If they spend $100,000 over the course, or $1 million over the course of 5 years, the MSP is going to get a check for 2% of that as soon as the deal is signed and funded and invoiced. So pretty cool. And Gerard is going to walk you guys through some examples of what our common solutions packages look like, so you can get a sense of like, like great, 5%, 2%, what real world dollars does that mean? And keep in mind, everything that he's going to show you, it's just they're real world deals that we've done and that we've paid out MSP on, but that's every solution is specific to that customer, just like every MSP's package is specific to their customer base. So anyway, take it away, Gerard.
Sure. So moving on, we'll go through commission examples, how I try to work. So basically, let's just look at a document management solution. There's going to be a lot of line items, and we're not expecting, like I said, for the MSP to have to learn the technology. We're just asking them to understand when it's good to bring Print Partner in and get Print Partner involved. So this is a typical document management. There's a lot of line items. On this one, it's a 10 user system, and it comes out to about $40,000 revenue. And then there's some reoccurring revenue here. This is the support, and this would be $497 for 60 months. This support. So when you look at this, sure, up front they're going to pay for $40,000 basically, and then they're going to get a reoccurring revenue of $497. So how that comes about is over here. If you look, so 5% of the $39,667. You get a check right up front for $1,983. And then on top of that, you would get a check for 2% of the total amount of what the support is over 60 months, which is $29,000. So you get 2% of that as well. So now you're looking at getting a check right up front for $2,580. That's how a typical document management would work.
And also, please just keep in mind that these numbers, these are top line numbers, and so like you see that total price. Assume that 40% of that is what we might have as net profit before we peel out commission for the salespeople and stuff like that in house. So in house, Green Office Partner isn't bringing in $29,000 for the term and $39,000 for the one time. It's much less than that. So handing over 5% of the revenue and 2% of the revenue of the total, it's almost like you're getting 10% and 5% commission on the profit, if that makes sense.
So this way, your cost, if we don't make profit and you were based on that, you wouldn't get any money. So bottom line is we want to make sure that you get money no matter what. So that's why we do it off of revenue. With that being said, I'll move on to another example. And all these examples, they follow the same rules that Mitch had talked about originally. The second is for, let's say, a cloud print deployment. Whereas this is PrintX, we didn't talk about it, but it is something that we talk about when we're talking about print deployment. This is a cloud-based print deployment that does not need a server to deploy printers and to deploy drivers. So this is becoming huge. And so let's say they have 11 devices. The a typical sale would be somewhere around $10,000. Ongoing support would be around $110 a month for 60 months. So the revenue is $6,600 for the 60 months. So you get your $520 for the $10,000, and then you get $132 for the commission on the 6,600. So you get a check for $652. The nice thing about this is, once again, you're just introducing us. You're introducing us to that customer. And if something goes with that customer, you get it. As well as if let's say the customer adds on to this later on, and you're still the MSP, you'll get ongoing checks for that as well.
Another thing to consider, just, you know, I'm riffing this, Gerard, so forgive me if I'm like stepping outside of the lines, but
No, this is important.
when we are collaborating with an MSP on a project, some projects have zero lift for the MSP. Like the MSP just makes the introduction, we do the whole thing, and the MSP just collects a check. Something like Printix, or there might be other solutions where the MSP might need to have some lift, and the MSP is just like, wait a minute, like if you guys introduce Printix, then I'm going to have to do some stuff and set up a new server, this or that, or it might add some time. If you as the MSP are involved in this decision-making process and you don't want to present your customer with a line item or a project fee associated with the 2 or 3 hours that you're going to spend doing X, Y, or Z, let our rep know, and we'll just bake it in so that you get that money. If like in the process you're finding out, hey, you guys are going to put in Printix, you're going to need a server for me to put in. I'm a all-you-can-eat MSP, and I'm not comfortable sending them an invoice for an extra $750 to do this thing, and I'm not so keen on you guys selling it to me because I'll have to do this extra work. Let us know, and we'll find a way to bake that in so that you get that money and your customer still receives the value.
Yep, exactly. That was good. So very typical Printix. We talked about Papercut. This is actually a small Papercut. However, this is for like one device. So I wanted to do it at one device, because if you can do it at one device, and we're doing roughly around 16,000 on this deal, commission for that 16,000 would be $801, and then monthly support is about $335. So your commission on this would be about $1,200 on this deal. Most paper cuts are anywhere. Well, the average is around 25,000. However, what we're seeing more and more is that number's climbing. So you're going to see paper cut deals at $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. So I mean, this commission can go up quite a bit based on that. But anyways, I just wanted to point that out. RPA, this is great because it doesn't have the same line items because it's all a service. It's all done on a service that's being created. So this is how they base how to price it. Let's say it's a 60-month service. It's $5,500 a month. At the end of that 60 month, they've paid $330,000 to have that bot. Let's just say your commission check up front will be around $6,600. This is very typical on what you see for the one bot type of thing. So, and then this is your commission. We're working on others now that are $10,000 a month. So you're looking at yeah, it's quite, and there are companies that are loving it. They're just like, wow. I was at a dinner last night, and it wasn't even a dinner. It was just like a Christmas party that they had a bunch of drinks and a bunch of people. And I went there just specifically to support my friend who part of this group, and he invited me along. I had 5 conversations on RPA, and you know what? 5 people were like, you got to call me on this. We have a spot that we could definitely use this. And you know what? It's easy to give a price too, because I know what to give them as a price. And they're like, yeah, even knowing the price, they're like, oh my God, that's less than hiring somebody. So bottom line is that it does work, and the stuff is real. And this is real commission, you know. So for XM fax, if you have cloud faxing, you know, typical install, you'd probably make around $820, $1,000, let's say, for a typical cloud. This is really right here. This is only with one line or 2 lines. So you're really, I mean, this is actually kind of a lower one. We, like I said, that one customer does 120,000 pages a month. So imagine what that commission check would look like. I wish I was here when we actually had that. So, but anyways, meaning when we sold it, still got it. They love us. But I think that's it. Yep. And with that being said, are there any questions on anything we talked about? Myself, Mitch, we can answer those. And if you have anything else, you can actually send information to solutions@greenofficepartner.com. I'll work with Mitch, and we'll make sure that we get your answers to you. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for a very, very good presentation. It kind of, answered all the questions we might have about, how we can integrate additional solutions. Because before this event, just thought it was copiers and printers. So it's much more obviously than just copiers and printers. So thank you for your time today and bringing all that into focus. So
thank you.
Thank you as always for being such a graceful host and providing a platform for us to spread the good word, man.
awesome.
Definitely.
Always happy to collaborate with you anytime and see how we can help make the MSP's businesses even better.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Scott. Thanks,
Thank you,
Gerard.
Scott. Thank you.
We'll do this
Thank-
again next time. Y'all
Yeah,
have
we
a
will.
wonderful day.
Thank you.
Doodles.
Thanks. See you.